Usually when a state changes its flag, it's pretty straightforward. It looks at a couple designs created by civilians and chooses. Very cut and dry. So when Georgia decided to change his flag, things should have gone quickly, right? The story of Georgia's flag begins in 1956. In 1956, Georgia changed his flag to the notorious 1956 flag, in response to the ruling on Brown versus Board of Education, which desegregated schools. Now, as Georgia moved further away from his discriminatory past, the flag began to come into question. What did it truly stand for? Was it a remnant of racism or a symbol of history? Was he ready to leave it behind after over 40 years? Georgia ignored this question for a long time, not wanting to confront his internal crisis. Then the 90s hit, and things changed drastically, because Atlanta was supposed to host the Olympics. Suddenly, Georgia could no longer skate by unnoticed, as every state was staring him down. It finally boiled over, as Georgia began having to actually think about his flag and wonder, was it time for a change? In 1999, Roy Barnes was sworn in to the office of governor. Barnes absolutely hated the flag, so he decided it was time to do something. Georgia at this point had finally decided it was time to change the flag, and so he'd started the process. But before he could begin considering anything, the decision was taken out of his hands. So, in 2001, Georgia woke up to a surprise. Excuse me, who are you? What? Who are you? Me? What are you doing in our house? Our house? I was here before you. Georgia? Who else? You didn't tell us you were changing your flag. What do you mean? I haven't yet. You're blue, Georgia. What? You're blue. So, that morning, Georgia discovered his flag had been changed in the middle of the night without discussion. He was humiliated. He hadn't gotten any input on what his flag would look like and now was stuck with what some dude had decided was good. No one liked it. Not even his parents. For a year, he cut himself off as he began to feel more isolated and disgusted with his flag. 2002 was an election year, and with that, he was finally able to choose his own flag. He locked himself in his room for months debating. He had 3 options: the 1956 flag, the so-called Barnes flag, and a new flag, one he had just designed, called the Compromise flag. The Compromise flag had been based off the first national flag of the Confederacy. He hoped it would be a way to acknowledge this point in his history without representing the racism, hostility, and anger of the 1900s, like the battle flag had. Then it had his seals surrounded by the 13 stars, representing his time as one of the 13 colonies. With that, he decided it was truly time to move on, and he took the 1956 flag out of consideration. With that, it was Barnes against the Compromise, and considering how much everyone hated the Barnes flag, the choice was clear from the beginning. So, in 2004, after having 3 different flags in 2 years, he hoped he could finally move on to other, more important things.